Right, welcome, ladies and gents. Let's talk about the House of the Dragon episode 8 review. Very, very good episode. Very, very enjoyable from start to finish, in fact. And also, more specifically, just fantastic cinematography. It never ceases to amaze me just how good the cinematography is on this show. There's some subtle shots of King Viserys where the entire back shot is just all bokeh out, and it's almost mirroring his own sort of descent into unease and illness, and it's very, very well done. Really, really well done, in fact. This is one of the best episodes of TV I've seen in quite a while. There's been very little that's good out there, so maybe this stands above it just simply because of that. I don't know, but it was great. Now, there will be some names that I just probably will not get right, because there's Aegon, Daemon, just Vaemon, so many. So just forgive me. But let's talk about this setting the stage. Now, obviously, full spoilers here. Full spoilers is what we're going to talk about. And I've got some notes in front of me, so I'm not looking so much at the camera and looking mainly at my notes instead. King Viserys, such a nice dude. Does not deserve what happens to him in this episode. I mean, he dies, obviously. Now, we're introduced to him when Corlys Velaryon is thought to be dead at war at sea. And then there's vying for the Driftmark. Well, vying for Driftmark, you know, the Driftwood throne. Now, Rhaenyra obviously is like, well, no, obviously it's my son. He's going to be the Lord of Driftmark. What are you doing? So they go to do their petitions, but you've also got Vaemon, who is the brother of Corlys. So Vaemon is trying to get the throne as well, and they're all sort of vying for it. And this is really, it's kind of Game of Thrones on a grander scale, because obviously it's the game of every throne, which is great. Like, it's fun, the politics behind it all, and just how awful the world is. And then my dog's going mental. And then you've got King Viserys, just this sort of beacon of light, this nice chap who's just slowly decaying away and dying. And he does actually look like one of the White Walkers. He looks really bad. His eye's gone. Chunks of his cheek are out. You can see inside his mouth. The work that they did on that, it looks really good. Great effects. It looks really, really decent. He looks in rough shape. So great, kudos to the prosthetics and the makeup department. They did a really good job there. And obviously everyone's vying for this. Daemon and Rhaenyra go to see King Viserys, and they're like, what's going on? Like, you're in bed. Why is Alicent ruling in your name? The entire castle's got new decor. Obviously, her house's decor. But Daemon surprised me this episode quite a lot. And you can see that he does care for his brother in this episode. Doing things which he wouldn't have to do. He doesn't need to do it. It's not, he doesn't need to do it. But he does. So we have the fact that they notice that he's being doped up on milk of the poppy. So he's high as hell. They say it's for pain. But obviously Alicent and Otto the Hand, Otto Hightower, I think it's Otto Hightower. They're trying very much to sedate him, keep him subdued, so they can make decisions in his stead. It's out and out stated, basically. So he calls that to light, and it seems seeing Rhaenyra and Daemon makes the king it makes him realise, it makes him come off the milk of the poppy, which I thought was really cool. And then there's this great scene, the fantastic scene where they're all there. Otto's on the Iron Throne, taking the petitions in the wake, well, not in the wake, but in the name of the king, because he's in bed. And then the doors open and the king's there, and you're like, wow, yes, man. Like, it's that uplifting moment in a world that's just full of shit, because this guy is a nice guy, and you know that he's going to come in and he's going to do what's right, and he did. So obviously he reinforced Rhaenyra's son as the rightful heir to Driftmark. And that was great. But then Vaemon, Corlys's brother, is like, no, they're bastards. And King Viserys goes to pull out his steel dagger, but then there's this shot of Vaemon and his head gets cut off, and it's Daemon, and you're like, what a legend, what a beast. Matt Smith in this role, I love it. I absolutely love him in this role. But before that, I've got ahead of myself slightly, and the real touching thing was the king is walking to his throne and he's hobbling and he can barely stand up and he's really struggling, and he drops the crown and he's really struggling, and a hand comes down and he goes, no, I said I'll do it myself. I said, leave me alone. And it's Daemon. And he helps his brother sit on the throne and he puts the crown back on his head. And it's that subtle thing where you're just like, yeah, he clearly gives a shit. Doesn't have to do that. I really, yeah, I felt for that. I thought that was really, really well done. Doesn't need to be said. You can just see it. He never wanted anything, you know. He's always said that his brother's not fit for the throne because he can't stomach war. So they oppose one another on that basis, but he still clearly cares for his brother. So I liked that a lot. Anyway, from there, there's the great feast that they have, supper, because obviously King Viserys wants them to do that. And there's some like interactions there. I can't remember the guy's name, but it's Alicent's son that gets his eye cut out in the last episode. The new actor, because there's been a time jump, looks older, because he was the younger brother and he looks older than the older brother. And I was confused. And he also looks like the older version of the brother. The actor that they've chosen just doesn't make any sense. It looks like an older version of the brother that was playing the older brother before the time jump. So it confused me a little bit. But really good actor. And someone that you can see that's going to be heavily at odds with Daemon. I hope. I hope to God he is. Because Daemon's the only one that stood up to him at this supper. So they're going to have this big bust up, and he stands up and he tells, you know, Rhaenyra's boys to go away or whatever, and you can just see he stands there in front of essentially what is his nephew, because he's the uncle, and he's just stood there, and you can see them sort of, and he walks off. And Matt Smith's Daemon sort of laughs to himself. It was just a beautifully done episode. One of the best. And sets the stage for everything to come. Because King Viserys dies at the end. You know. And also revealing the Song of Ice and Fire to Alicent. Because he thought that was going to be... He thought that was Rhaenyra because he was high. And now she thinks that he, you know, is telling her she's the only one that can... you know, sort out the lands and avoid the great catastrophe of what's going to happen and all this kind of stuff. So that was really good. I setting the stage so well here. I cannot wait to see what happens. And yeah, weird choice on the actor though for the time jump. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought down below. The prosthetic work actually of chopping the head off was solid. That was really good. Like, obviously the body slumped down and they've got a fake body with his tongue. It's just funny because he said, King Viserys is like, I'll have your tongue. His head gets cut off. And Matt Smith, there's one liner of, he can keep his tongue. Like, you're like, Just, it's so good. Like, I thoroughly implore people to watch this show. It's very, very well done. So anyway, that'll be it from me. That is my review. Sorry about Jasper. I don't know what he was barking at. There's nothing there. But he's got a bee in his bonnet somehow, somewhere. Cheers, guys. Take care.